early leads, but then they kind of plateau after their early game. They start out with these huge advantages. They're best in the league at 10, they're second best in the league at 15, and then it goes down to 4th, 5th, etc., right? They start to fall further and further behind, and if CLG lose, they are guaranteed to be locked out of playoffs. This is a team that made, the most kind of, I would say, famous coaching change, really. Zix being replaced after 5 years with the organization is swapped out there for Goldman, and really, CLG have had a very disappointing year. Has really been tough for the org, one of the most storied organizations in NALCS history. I'm looking at a picture of them in their championship in Vegas right there to our left, and that is one of those things that people think of when they think of CLG, and they missed playoffs in spring. They've now lost 7 straight games in summer. That is not something you would normally expect to hear from this CLG organization, for whom so many had high hopes, and they are now on the precipice of 8 straight losses, potentially could finish on 10 losses straight if the trend continues.
All right, let's play catch-up. Bands on the left side, Rakan, Kindred, Talia over on the right, Aatrox, Akali, Zoe, first pick Trundle, Ferris, Gragas, Ash, we're all caught up.
You did it. All right, so Trundle as a first pick is something we have not seen in a while, especially when Nocturne is up. I was surprised to see Nocturne just get completely skipped over by both teams. Moving through picks and bans extremely fast. Gragas kind of as the answer to that Trundle is also definitely a little bit surprising. You have to remember, though, it is more of an AP Gragas these days than pure tank. A lot of players are just going Runic Echoes into Zonias and these sorts of builds, so you're not going to be able to steal as many pure stats as you would have before had this been a Cylinder Hulk into pure tank style of build. So certainly the dueling there becomes a little bit better. There also is the potential of Darshan taking this Gragas up to the top lane, so we'll have to watch out for that.
Gangplank, though, as the things do slow down as CLG's first ban in Phase 2. They'll join it with Gnar and Syndra. Was the 4th ban there for FlyQuest. We'll see what number 5 is here.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I mean, a lot of focus on Flame over there on the top side. This may be because Darshan is going to be the kind of unlucky blind pick here for his team. If you are going to be picking him right next in that 4th slot, as I am expecting with that double ban, Mundo has been taken away here also, so a lot of the safest top lane picks are gone, and it is going to be Darshan getting locked in on the Cho'Gath, so makes a lot of sense. You take away some of those traditional tough matchups, but there are still others available for Flame if he is willing to play a little bit more risky.
This would constitute that somewhat. You can see Flame, I think he's conversing with his coach and teammates. Oh,
I don't love Rumble into Cho'Gath. It's one of those matchups where sure you can have the very early push, but Cho'Gath actually has pretty strong sustain and pretty strong kind of anti-push and pushing power himself. And if Rumble really can't kind of get you stuck under that turret, I think it becomes very difficult. So I would be a little bit surprised to see it. But there are options if you want to play a little bit more risky, like something along the lines of the Jace. But it is going to be the Rumble, so we'll see how much he's going to be able to get out of that early priority. Once Cho'Gath starts to build up some of the MR, once he gets to things like the Abyssal, it can become a lot tougher, especially in this kind of modern era where more and more people are actually going for Comet on all of these tanks and some of these pushing matchups. So we'll see how well Flame can handle this, but certainly there is a potential to be outscaled. Either way, Trundle is going to be there to deal with Cho'Gath in later stages.
Yep, certainly is, as Orianna is the last pick after Rise Rumble there for FlyQuest. So very standard between these two. Maybe the Rumble sticking out there for Flame. Has historically trended towards, more bruiser, more carry style champions, but as you said, could be tough here against Darshan with his tank of choice on Cho'Gath. But I think both these teams kind of looking for the same thing despite being in very different positions in the league. Currently, CLG want to pick up what wins they can. If by some miracle they can rattle off 3 straight, then there are shots they can still make here for FlyQuest. Again, looking to secure that playoff berth. Do need a win here, and then one more for sure, I think, gets them there, but no reason to lose now this late in the season, especially against a team that has been struggling all year long.
And this does actually make 3 straight Rumble games here for Flame, so obviously very comfortable in the matchup. He played it into GP. Actually, both games, against Impact and against Solo. So this is his first time having a crack at it against a tank, so we'll see how well he's going to be able to perform. And yeah, I mean, the other thing you always have to take into consideration when you're looking at these low-ranked teams is they're playing for their spot.
Certainly true. I mean, talk a lot about CLG being such a storied org. I think no one expected someone as entrenched in the org as Zix to leave so late in the season. And so now you have to start questioning for players that have now been around together for quite a long time. And you think about names like Darshan, been around forever. Kuhi has kind of become one of the faces of his team since his other, former, more famous teammates, if you will, have left the organization. So thinking that there could be more change on the horizon certainly has to be in some of these players' minds.
Yeah, I mean, you want to have strong performances. You want to prove that you are worth keeping around, because when a team is willing to drop a coach who has been with the org for 5 years, they are certainly willing to drop players as well after a year of disappointing results here for CLG. Theoretically, there still is a path into playoffs, I do believe. They are not mathematically eliminated until they lose one more game, but for a team that has lost 7 straight, rattling off 3 straight wins after getting rid of your head coach is going to be a tall task.
Yeah, for FlyQuest, it's who do you want to be tied with? Do you want to be tied with TSM and Optic, splitting at 8-8, or do you want to be tied with EgoFox and Cloud9? Given the trajectory of those teams, I think I know where I'd rather be as we move in towards our last week, actually, as the NLCS. This is our last game of week 8.
And FlyQuest, despite the fact that, a lot of criticism has been levied their way for their unconvincing wins, a lot of their kind of base race style games that have, been pretty crazy, they have one of the easiest schedules remaining. So they got a lot of those crazy wins against top level teams, right? They have, I believe statistically the easiest schedule remaining. So FlyQuest certainly in a very, very good position to be able to lock in playoffs. And, Mark was willing to say on the NLCS top of the day during Countdown that he's willing to bet on it, right? That he's confident enough that it's basically a done deal. So we'll see if FlyQuest can kind of make good on that and allow Mark to keep his pride.
They're also not called Counterlogic Gaming for nothing. So let's see what happens here as JJ Wild Turtle will join late here after helping Santorin over on his red buff. Looks like red side start for Rainover also, which of course cross map from FlyQuest's current position. Here with the Varus Braum, seen a lot of this today. Actually seen a lot of this exact matchup 2v2.
Yeah. It's becoming kind of the go-to, right? And as games have gotten slower, people want a lot of these scaling marksmen to kind of be in the mix. And when you bring in marksmen, when they are higher priority, then tanks become higher priority because it's about protecting those marksmen, enabling them in the late game, and everything starts to slow down a little bit, which then brings in strategies like split push, where you can kind of spread the map a bit more. So the meta certainly has taken a shift, and we've seen less and less mages on this path. I believe just one this week. I can only think of the Swain from Lost.
Yeah, in bot
did
lane.
actually lose.
Yes, have not been too many there. Rain over here. Chugging through the Raptors. Does take them down. Hulk shot from Turtle. Does just spot him, I believe. So they'll have some info on what Rainover's up to. And of course, likely saw the other 2 camps, but they are gone. Looks like Crab though for Santorin. Takes the left side scuttle. Rainover going to do the same there on the opposite side.
Yeah, Rainover just going for basically a power clear. And he may actually try to get down and perhaps steal away the Krugs, but for now, not going to be the option.
Checking for vision.
Yeah,
sweep through.
Did do a full clear topside, so he grabs the scuttle. He can have then all of these camps to clear up and should be a little bit ahead of Santorin in that regard, but did obviously spend some time trying to get vision as well. And Santorin may have time to actually get back to base and get out on the map and even up those camps before it really becomes anything.
Big wave here being built up by Stix staying by for us, and they are going to escort it here to the turret. Trying to see if they can't deny some away from Turtle, who's going to try and hit them as best he can under the turret. Six there, a little bit of poke. Actually going lethal tempo here. Seen a lot of comments today on Varus for that extra lane power and poke, but not here for Stix.
Yep, and this is going to mean that he's doing auto attack focus build. It should not be lethality with the lethal tempo. We're expecting a Blade of the Rune King rush, Blade of the Rune King, Rage Blade Hurricane, this sort of style where it is physical damage focus. It is auto attack based. And, they don't have a lot of damage in this comp, really. They have a lot of sustained damage, so, you kind of need that from him. And both junglers end up just doing 6 camp clear plus scuttle, so no real gank attempts from either side. They're both going to end up with the same amount of farm, same amount of clear.
Very relaxing first 4 minutes of the game.
It is. Yeah. It's the no rush.
Yep, even mid lane, just farming back and forth. Rise Orianna tends to do that. He going to lose the race to first back here. King with a nice timing. Also has TP, but probably won't commit it here. Just going to go back and pick up some mana crystals. Oh, I'm telling a lie. He is going to TP back.
And Darshan does actually elect to not go for combat. He's just going to go grass. Rumble obviously is a melee champion, so you don't need that. It's definitely not a must-have by any means, but you can see Rumble is not really pressuring this lane heavily. The farm is fairly even. Darshan is full HP. Can be one of the more difficult tank matchups, I think, to bully for the Rumble in the early stages. Cho'Gath really does kind of excel as far as the wave clear does go.
Oh, nice lead here, actually. 6-8 and
A lot of
Bifrost.
farm, yeah.
Yeah, more than 10 as they'll take these next few. Now dematerializing. Oh, so juicy. Love that little combo.
The Rise Wave player very, very strong. But I mean, he still has all his charges on his Corrupting Potion, so doesn't have to go back to base just yet, but now does take a little bit of a rough trade. We may see junglers come around, just help him push out, and fight on the bot side.
What happened here? Yeah, that's a stun into the Devour. Bifrost forced to flash away. Has no sums left. Stun, eat arrows from the Ash. Flash forward, first blood's over. Turtle! He's gonna grab it, and now Stickstay. Gotta be careful.
Yeah, JJ very low as well. Turtle is just gonna die.
Okay, that was too much.
Yeah, Turtle just kind of continued the fight there. Both ADs have flash. Both of them just decide to fight it out, and it is Stickstay that gets a kill back. He does survive with the farm advantage. He's ahead, but now there's the dive.
Beautiful dive. Shockwave's not bad from Huhi, but it's an easy one there for Santorin. Keen is forced to flash away, but he will get out safely.
Yeah, nicely done on the dive there from FlyQuest, who he hadn't gone back to base yet, so really not a lot of power in the kit here. And Biofrost stepping forward when already tongue lashed, not something you really ever want to do. I mean, you want to wait until those hunger stacks kind of expire from the Tahm Kench, so he gets the stun into the eat, exhaust him, flash forward for the auto, and Turtle gets an easy first blood there without even having to flash, but then decides, hey, I'm going to fight this out, but the stacks are on him from Stickstay, and nails the piercing arrow. That is a deceptive amount of damage that you can put out there. So despite the fact that first blood went to Turtle, it is Stickstay who is still ahead, thanks to that farm advantage, but it is very, very close.
Well played there by Stickstay. Unfortunately for Bifrost, not so much. See if those exchanges to increase, especially with lots of summoners burnt. Maybe junglers want to start paying some attention.
Yeah, I mean, I do think it would be an easy lane to gank for Reignover. He has his ultimate. Tahm Kench has no flash, so certainly something that you can look to attack. Either way, wasn't expecting this to be any sort of a kill lane. This is generally a very passive farm lane, but if you make mistakes, you can be punished. And thankfully for CLG, they do trade it back, and Reignover running into flame.
Yep. A great time. Oh, actually ults him back. Smites him down as well. Here's the Realm Mob though from King. He's going to move in. Does get the root down. That should be a kill. Greg is not that tanky. Reignover actually may be able to get away. No, not so lucky. But here's Darshang going to try and again force another CLG trade. No Shockwave. It's about 15 seconds away. His Flaming King dip, dodge away, and Blast Cone to safety, and steal the red buff.
Yeah, I mean, Reignover ults him in, but Darshan wasn't there. He doesn't have ultimate, so there's no follow-up damage to actually get that kill. And they say, oh, okay, I guess we'll just fight. So they do kill off Reignover. Santorin getting involved there with the ultimate, now stealing away the red buff. So everything looking like it's going FlyQuest's way.
And again, for what was the calm first 4 minutes, FlyQuest has done a really good job reading CLG's patterns, setting things up for themselves. This is, I think, something that's pretty underrated about FlyQuest as a team. They're not particularly flashy, and a lot of their end games, as you said, have looked pretty messy. Yeah. But they're just a really solid team.
Yeah, they are very, very solid. I mean, they have massively improved since actually, arriving at this roster. Bringing in JJ, bringing in Santorin, the team has gotten so much better. So, a far cry from where they were in Spring Split, and they do deserve a lot of credit for that constant improvement that they have been able to achieve. And for CLG, it has been a whole year pretty much, well, a whole split at least, of strong early games, but weak, mid, and late. And, in this game now they don't really have that early game buffer to work with, and they have not been able to actually make anything happen in the mid and late game. So we'll see if they can kind of pull something out, if they can show something a little bit special.
Nice there from Turtle to spot Reignover. Also in general from the FlyQuest duo to suspect Reignover's pressure, as he did hang out in that brush for quite a long time. But no success gank there. Flame also getting some pressure down here in the top. Looks like Darshan is going to come back after eating a little bit of damage. And yeah. Stickstay Bio is still playing up in this lane. Stickstay again has that farm lead, has that kill. He's kind of the good note here for CLG's early game.
Yeah, and he has really been kind of one of the bright spots for CLG throughout this split. I still think that his laning has been very strong. His laning stats have been solid. Shockwave is available for Huhi here, so they could potentially look for Keen. And Darshan, I think he went back to base because he's worried about a potential dive. His jungler was on the bottom side of the map. He knew Trundle could be up at the top, so going to be a bit worried about that. But we'll be able to get out there, and looks like he's probably going to be building towards maybe an adaptive or something like that. This could also just be pieces of an abyssal as he works towards that item.
Makes sense. So for the early MR, Flame also has gone back as his mask already finished up. And Santorin once again back here towards this bot side of the map, but this time it's not just the bot lane that he can look to attack, it is the Infernal, which he will start.
Yeah, and that's going to be a really nice dragon for them to grab, you know, kind of securing some of that scaling advantage that they already are sitting on. I have to give a lot of credit to Wild Turtle. This Hawkshot is not going to actually catch much, but he has been pretty on point with cracking Raidover throughout the game with that Hawkshot. So definitely doing a very good job there, and it's one of those things that is really kind of goes unseen a lot of the time, I think, with Ashe. You know, I've had a lot of people kind of ask me sometimes, you know, why do pros pick Ashe so much? And this is one of the reasons. The vision is so damn good, but FlyQuest going for the dive.
This feels very mean. 6A, not really much to do there. Does get taken out by Keen, and JJ even moves the aggro off of Turtle by devouring him. Really well played.
Yeah, very clean dive from them there. CLG will try to trade back, grabbing this Rift Herald, but that's going to mean their turret just goes down. I doubt that Bifrost can actually keep this one alive. Nothing really 6A could do. He holds onto the flash, but they're going to lose the first turret. They lost the Infernal, trying to get something back with the Rift Herald, but we'll see if they can convert on that and really kind of knock down a couple turrets to make this trade worthwhile. Restack
there for Darshan. Not too bad. They've got the Herald, of course, as well. See if they can look to trade those turrets, but of course that extra gold already over to FlyQuest, who are swapping their duo up towards the top side. Rain over here has flash. Looking for Keen, but Keen with a really good flash.
Yeah, very respectful there from Rainover. You can't react once they've already flashed because the body slam flash is going to hit you, is going to stun you up. So as soon as you see them body slam, if you suspect it's coming, you've got to flash early. And Keen does so, gets out of there. No need to risk it, really. Your team is so far ahead, right? You can trade a summoner like that and feel fine about it.
Also gets Rainover's flash as well, so at least the trade there for Keen is going to stay alive. And continuing to just mow down creep waves here with Rise.
And we can see Turtle already up to the top side. The lane swap has not come through for CLG, so Turtle is going to be very soon working away on this turret. Darshan doesn't have his TP just yet. May just be a turret trade here. CLG's trying to knock down the one on the bottom side. They're going to drop Rift Herald, so they're going to try to push for 2. This is a pretty nice move from them. If they can knock down both, this does become pretty worthwhile. We'll see if FlyQuest can look to respond. Maybe Flame can try to do something about it, but without the equalizer, I honestly think CLG just get 2 turrets, no problem.
He's 10 seconds away from the ult, so FlyQuest will take the turret, but again, the charge is here. Flame, ooh, actually going to use a TP there. It's JJ coming in.
Okay.
This Herald's going to go down, so they have to commit something. They decide support summoner is the best thing to do.
Yeah, and that's just the spellbook TP, so not really much of a cost. They were moving down Trundle and Rise as well, so denying CLG that double turret there. Still, Rainover and the rest of CLG doing a good job getting something from that Rift Herald, which they really, really needed to do because they had lost a lot. They lost first turret, they lost Infernal, they lost the kill, so they needed to get some wins, and this is something to get them back on the board a little bit, but still, they are very far behind for this early on in the game. It's already over 3,000 gold.
I wonder where he was
That's
going.
pretty cute.
But waiting for Santorin so they can steal the red buff on spawn. Cool little pairing there. And Santorin, yeah, he'll grab the red buff. Denied away from Rainover. That's some super feels bad man counter jungling.
Yeah, that's pretty rough. Rainover lost his last red, and as you said, gonna lose this one on spawn. So tough stuff for them, and he is falling behind. You know, and one of those things you always kind of want to bail out into a more tanky style build as Gragas when you are behind, but you know, that kind of works more in Trundle's favor as well. So that's going to be tough to deal with. You can see all of the Merc Treads already being purchased up here by FlyQuest, 3 of them on the top side to deal with any potential CC that can come through from CLG. You know, 6A still really is the only one that is kind of ahead. He has a farm advantage. They have similar item timings here in the bottom side of the map, but even with his edge, everyone else is kind of falling behind. Mid lane is fairly behind. Top lane is falling behind. They're losing turrets. They're losing objectives, and they're going to need to find some good engages.
Ooh, good ult. Better devour. JJ just scoops Turtle off to safety. Now the counter arrow is going to come. Is blocked by Bifrost. Ult also used there by Rainover to disengage the fight.
Yeah, Rainover throws that out. You know, I wonder if they could have just gone for a bit of a fight there. I think Bifrost had done a good job blocking up a lot of that damage, so potentially they could have looked to turn it around either way. It is just the trade of ults. No summoners really down for either team, so not too big of a deal on either side. And you know, Flame going to be continuously shoving Darshan in.
JJ, sorry, actually going to get stunned, so is forced to flash away there. Uses exhaust as well, by the looks of things, so maybe Rainover now can start something else. But
Spotted out.
Spotted by the Hawk shot.
Such a nice job there by Turtle. So just again, anticipating the fact that someone could be in that brush, he checks it out, shuts down the play before it even gets started. And FlyQuest really just pressing on all sides at this point, extending this gold lead slowly but surely.
And now, again, keeping their dual lane anchored mid. Nice spot for them to be with both Rise and Rumble able to pretty effectively crush down those side lanes. I mean, already up 3,500 gold or so. Pretty big early game lead here for FlyQuest with one Drake as well, with the Ocean spawning in just under a minute for them to maybe look to. CLG, they've done generally a good job as a team this year, and of course this split as well, of reacting and trading, but you need a little bit more than that to close out games, which is obviously part of the reason they've had some struggles.
Yeah, you really do. I mean, you need to be well coordinated, well focused in setting up the objectives, and FlyQuest starting this one out.
Yet another play. Stixxay going to be forced to flash out. Firefrost maybe the next target, but they'll just take the flash and leave it.
Yeah, it's a nice trade. I think that the Trundle Pillar with the Equalizer there is actually a pretty nice combo. It makes engaging with that Equalizer more reasonable if you can kind of bump them back into it and kind of lock them down with that huge Trundle Pillar slow. So a good roam and attempt there from FlyQuest, gets them a Summoner, and this game is really going to be on the back of Stixxay. You pretty much have to be able to be carrying in the team fights as this Varus, so there's going to be a lot of attention on him, and getting the Summoner down there is actually a pretty big deal, because it really is essentially three-man frontline, an Orianna, and then the Varus. And sure, Shockwave can be very impactful, but so much of the consistent damage has to come from Stixxay.
Everyone else is also behind, and he's the one that's at least even, so CLG, so they're staying grouped here to try and contest for this Drake. Meanwhile, Keen, with his TP almost back up, is just splitting top lane, looking to take down another turret here.
And likely will just knock it down. No one's really in position. We do see that Hui's going up top side now. The rest of CLG does get down a dragon, but nice Tahm Kench ultimate from JJ, so this should secure them the turret. We'll see if they want to stick around. Shockwave comes in to clear it out, so nicely done by Hui, but his turret will still fall. Yep,
that's the wave, gets some damage down, but not enough to save it, unfortunately for him, so instead he'll wait for the wave and collect it now that they've left. CLG trying to counter-push mid lane here. 3v1 right now, just Santorin looking to defend this. Arrow coming. It's Firefrost. Just gonna buy some time. Oh, Flame actually also over the wall. It's actually enough to deter the push. Really nice stuff there from Turtle.
Yeah, really good arrow. Just shooting that out does slow down that push, and they can't commit for a fight after it, but they're happy to just kind of clear the wave, defend that turret. Flame is behind Santorin, and they know that would be a tough dive to make. So CLG will back off and take the kind of poor end of the trade once again. They do get the Ocean, but they lose a turret, and they lose pressure on the map once more.
I mean, doing what they can, but it's tough to trade effectively when you are behind, although sometimes it is your only option. Again, CLG doing a good job keeping the game afloat. But FlyQuest have been really good at being proactive here in this game, using JJ's ultimate continually, using arrows and hawk shots from Turtle, even something like Equalizer or Keen's pressure. FlyQuest kind of know the different things that their comp and their cooldowns can do, and they're doing a nice job staying proactive and pressuring CLG.
Yeah, they show like a good understanding of tempo, and that's one of the things that St. Vicious was talking about in his interviews. Talking about the fact that he feels many pros do not have a solid understanding of what tempo is, of how long it takes to get places on the map, of how long it takes to kill turrets and get objectives, and he felt his team has a strong understanding of that, and that was one of the big things he actually credited for his team being able to win a lot of these crazy trades. They understand that, okay, it's going to take us X amount of time to kill off the base, X amount of time to charge this inhibitor. This team is being too slow. We can get that trade. We can get that advantage, and they're kind of trying to showcase that here once again.
Still up 4K. CLG, actually both teams being pretty stubborn here in the mid lane, wanting to take down that outer turret. The Rift Herald's off the board, of course. CLG already took it for the bottom outer. So no easy way to get it here, with plenty of wave clear protecting here as well.
And if CLG can just kind of keep it into this sort of ARAM style game where they're both farming it out, they're going to feel pretty good. But Flame is TPing in, or here they come.
Oh, good equalizer there as well. Flame with the flank. Here comes Keen. Realm Warp in. They've already got one. They've taken out Stixxay. And now they're going to try and get the combo back in. But
nice Devour.
Mid-air flight Devour. Gonna save Keen from the Greg Assault.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Flame with the flank ultimate there, and Keen TPing in on the side. FlyQuest able to get another nice kill, taking down Stixxay, who didn't have the flash from that earlier play, right? So again, forcing that out. It was the previous equalizer from Flame when he came mid that they got Stixxay's flash. As soon as the equalizer's up again, they go mid, they get a kill. That is really textbook League of Legends. That is very good stuff to see. There's so many times where you see teams, force out a summoner, never capitalize off of it. FlyQuest does so here, and they're going to be able to even get the turret. They're getting the top turret. They're pressing on all sides. CLG just feels like they're kind of rolling over.
And this is, again, the thing that really impresses me about FlyQuest. They do not play flashy, they do things by the book, but the way they react and how quickly they're willing to do things like this is what impresses me.
Yeah, and I didn't see Flame at the top side of the screen in the first play, and it was actually the Rise TPing in, as I said. So Flame in position, hits the equalizer, they get the kill. A beautiful devour there from JJ, saving his teammate from that ultimate from Raidover, and FlyQuest just feel like they're doing everything a little bit better than CLG. It really is the lone bright spot of Stixxay right now. I think for CLG, who's kind of holding even-ish, but even for him, if there's not additional threats, it becomes so difficult to actually stay safe because everyone is focusing their resources on you. So Huhi needs to scale up, become a threat. Darshan needs to scale up and really become tanky enough that he can kind of withstand some of the punishment that FlyQuest is putting out.
Gold lead growing here for FlyQuest. Closing in on 6,000 here with another Drake spawning in a minute. 55 arrow!
No.
Nails Darshan out of the TP and 3 collapse. Darshan nowhere good to go except the fountain. Wild Turtle gonna grab it.
That feels so bad. The 6-minute teleport cooldown, it does get canceled, but still it's such a long cooldown on this patch. Not only do you go down, you waste the TP. Flame still has his available, and FlyQuest again getting an advantage. CLG trying to get some vision around Baron. Worried about any potential Baron attempts off of that from FlyQuest, but for now, FlyQuest looks like they're happy to just continue farming, take their pick, and just continue pressuring on the map.
I like that you say worried about Baron attempts, because I do agree with you, but for a second there, I thought it was going to be the opposite. Just rush the Baron, because CLG have to be getting frustrated.
The 4-man Baron attempt at 21 minutes, 7,000 behind.
With TP-less trigger? Yeah, seems good.
That would be pretty bold.
I mean,
but at a certain point, even you talk about playing to win, at a certain point, your 5% play becomes the best chance to win, right? And CLG are not there yet.
No.
But they are, they are getting closer and closer. When you're down 7K, when you're down in Infernal, when you're losing on all sides in a game like this, you are looking at slimmer and slimmer margins the longer the game goes, because FlyQuest is farming both sides of the jungle oftentimes. They're getting advantages on all sides, and that just gets tougher and tougher and tougher. You're running a one true tank composition here. Trundle is exceptionally strong into one-tank teams because it essentially turns the Trundle into super tank himself while shredding Darshan. So CLG need to make a play. They need to find something.
JJ's at it again.
Down to the bot side.
Darshan, who's still got no flash, by the way.
Oops, on Turtle, though.
Devour lined up. Turtle, though, steps out of there. They wait their time, and FlyQuest again play it so clean.
Yeah, very well done. Right as Darshan respawns, he heads down to bottom lane. He gets ulted on, taken out. Stone play popped.
Oh, nice equalizer going to cut him off.
That was so good.
Well, Stixxay Huhi about to get womboed out. Flame, flash forward, takes down Huhi. Stixxay going to burn down as well. JJ saves Flame, and FlyQuest make it look so good up against CLG.
That equalizer from Flame was incredible, completely cut off. Their only escape path, there was no win situation there for CLG. They can't go forward and fight. They're walking back through the equalizer, getting absolutely shredded, and Keen following up with that Realm War. FlyQuest just take everything. And it was only a couple minutes ago I said they're not there yet for that 5% play. I think if you're CLG, you're ready to flip that coin. You're ready to take that low percentage play, because double Infernal, 10,000 gold lead, 23 minutes in is getting very bleak.
And again, think about the decisiveness, that last little call there from FlyQuest. Bot inhibitor turret goes down, instantly back away. You know you don't have time to take that in here. Just go take the Drake.
I can't really remember the last time I saw so many effective equalizers. Flame has been really on point, being very proactive. With this, you see once again JJ ulting them down to the bottom lane. The Abyssal Voyage comes in. It is on Wild Turtle, which makes it a little bit harder to pull off, but does get devoured up. Spat back into Wild Turtle. They take him down. Then the push comes in. Watch this equalizer from Flame. It's just picture perfect. They have to retreat through that. Stixxay has to flash into the equalizer to try to get out. There is no escape for CLG. No way to win that fight from that position. And JJ, even adding insult to injury, saves Flame up. They clean 4 kills for 0. Another turret. FlyQuest, we wanted the clean win, and they are giving it to us.
Certainly. Personally, I would love to know how long JJ's ult has been up since he had it, because it feels like almost never using it at pretty much every available opportunity. Again, FlyQuest in general, just playing them up well and being so proactive and aware of their cooldowns. It is wonderful to watch as Keen going to get the top side started once again. Flame also threatening with the TP, with the ulti onto that open exposed inhibitor. And CLG are left to do basically this. Hide in a brush in their jungle and put your palms together.
Yep, again, it's the 5% play. You're looking for something. It's hiding in a brush. It's hoping they throw a Baron. It's hoping that, you know, the wheels kind of completely fall off. For FlyQuest, not just once, but twice or 3 times or 4 times. Really to kind of get back into this.
He did it again!
Pressing the ult. Looks like Cho'Gath is going to die.
As the flash this time does use it to dodge the arrow.
Moral victory. He escaped.
Bigger problems. CLG have almost lost their whole base.
Yep, that is definitely a problem. They lost that bot lane inhibitor tower earlier, and now the full Baron vision control is kind of coming into effect here for FlyQuest. You can see so many wards around that area.
Here we
They're
go.
just going to run more straight into the pit and right onto it. That ward is disabled by their pink, and Rainover does know it's happening. This would be a way in for CLG if they can steal it. Let's see.
This equalizer is so juicy. He's going to find it under 2. Flame is just going to find it out. They're looking to finish Baron. And FlyQuest do it. Flame, he is going to fall, but a worthy sacrifice.
Yeah, that's what I call dying for the team there from Flame. He takes away any chance of a 50-50. He gives up his life, but he guarantees the Baron, and that is good stuff from Flame. Really heads-up play, making sure Rainover has no chance of getting into the pit, no chance of fighting through him and stealing away that Baron, because that was really the only way back in for CLG. So for FlyQuest, double Infernal, Baron buff available. When Flame respawns, I really do think you can march it down and potentially just end the game.
At this point, it just feels like you look at the Baron timer, that's the amount of time FlyQuest have to win this game. They are so far ahead. Everything is going their way, and Keen's going to start the party off early by trudging down bot lane here and moving the minions in.
And for the side of CLG, you know, the only hope that they have is getting a pick which delays the Baron buff, right? If you can get an immediate kill early on in the Baron buff, if someone is splitting away from the team, you pick someone off, maybe FlyQuest has to back up, maybe you can't actually get that. But that is why FlyQuest is walking around as a team. They're kind of converging on where Keen is. Look at all the pink wards now on this side of the map. This is where they want to push. 3 pinks immediately down. FlyQuest is really doing a good job prepping their vision. There was so many pinks on the other side of the map. Now they move 3 over here. They have 5 on the map. They have full vision control. It's so hard for CLG from that spot to really find a way to get in.
You can see Keen sets up the siege pink there. Gets the minions going. FlyQuest have the timing almost perfect on these waves in mid and bot lane.
And top lane's pushing as well, right? So you can potentially just rotate up as that wave stacks, Baron buff it up, send Flame up to the top lane even. And 3 waves of Baron minions coming in becomes so incredibly tough. Here are them going for the pick.
Look at McKean, they do knock him back, but he's actually reasonably tanky, getting bounced around here, gonna pop the realm up. Keen shut down just barely by Stixxay.
And that's what CLG needed, because FlyQuest did not have the minions in position to actually pressure on that turret to go for a dive. So all the credit to CLG there. They pull off a good play, get the pick on Keen, and that is the sort of thing that you need to look to delay this out, to buy time, because if Flame was pushing at the same time on the top side, if that mid lane was being pushed in at the same time, you would not be able to kind of go for that play unpunished. Instead, they find the window. Keen gets shut down, but he does have TP, and there's still a minute 20 on the buff.
It's a small one, but it is really the first obvious misstep that we've seen this game from FlyQuest. CLG, again, just trying to keep them away from their base and their inhibitors safe.
Yeah, I mean, the longer you delay, the better you're feeling about this game, but it is a long, long road for CLG to come back in this one. And a 3rd Infernal is going to be spawning in a minute. That is so hard to win. I don't know what the percentage of games you win are when the opponents have triple Infernal, but I'm willing to bet it's like 10% or less, and that's you know, not even considering all of the gold lead there. So FlyQuest pushing up here. Keen has TP'd back out, and they're still trying to pressure with the Baron.
He's actually doing a decent job poking at Darshan here. But again, just the real price is these turrets or this inhibitor placed in bot lane.
Yeah, Turtle wants to step forward and get shots onto this turret, but it is very hard. So for now,
hey,
they're going.
Flash there from Xantoran trying to chomp down Huhi. That should be enough space to take down inhib #1. Bot side does fall.
Yeah, they're going to knock that down. Another well-placed equalizer there from Flame. Gets the flash, gets them the inhibitor. And with 10 seconds on the Baron buff, I think they just retreat back to the Infernal. Looks like that's where they're going to head. Oh, they're actually
the red buff.
stealing the red buff. Oh my god, poor Rainover. So they're going to push top. They can always retreat back to the Infernal. For now, I think they're kind of just trying to set a trap and see if anyone comes, but definitely don't want to see FlyQuest giving this up. You need to see them being prepared, but Turtle does have TP, could get back down there. You do want to secure the third Infernal. You want to maintain that neutral objective advantage because that is so huge, having 24% additional AP and AD.
Few steps ahead there for FlyQuest, it feels like. Fortunately for them, they won't get anything extra other than the Drake they were almost guaranteed to get. But still a nice move again. JJ being proactive, using the ult. No, he's not going to need it. So its cooldown is back up. So FlyQuest able to continue their pressure, threaten another inhibitor, but back off and just take the Drake when that doesn't work out.
Yeah, and CLG wanted to walk 5-man strong into the Dragon Pit and hope for a miracle fight, but you saw as soon as they saw Turtle up on the top side, that is like flashbacks to all the base trade type games from Wild Turtle and from FlyQuest, so they did not have the confidence to go into that. They decided to base, they decided to defend. Hey, we're trying to play for late, you're trying to play for scaling, but it's trying to do this very, very uphill battle, right? All the cards are stacked against them.
Gave it, we talked about the 5% play at some point. I think we're well past that point. I'm not going to put a number on it, but it is low.
Yeah, I mean, I give them maybe 5% chance to win this game. You could maybe win this game 1 in 20 times, right? But that is
4.99.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. but it's a tough one, right? And when you're looking at like a 5% game that's no longer in your hands, it's down to your opponents to really make repeated mistakes to kind of slowly claw your way back in, because the only way you win this game is if it goes incredibly late. And that is going to take a lot of mistakes, a lot of missteps, as well as a lot of great plays from CLG.
Continued diligence though from FlyQuest. Again, Turtle using that hook shot. Just looking for CLG because he knows when you're 5% to win, your options are very limited.
Yeah.
The Turtle just making sure to shut those down as well.
And it's tough. I mean, 6A was kind of that lone bright spot, staying more or less even, but now it's Wild Turtle on 4 completed items. You can see that 6A is on 2 and a couple of pieces. When he hits that Hurricane, when he hits that IE, when he hits that true late game, maybe he could shred through a fight if they can protect him long enough, but he's not at that point just yet. He needs more time, so it's going to be up to the CLG squad to try to wave clear, try to look for something as FlyQuest comes in 5-man strong.
Arrow again finds good equalizer once more by Flame, going to cut off the back line. FlyQuest though just looking for the turret. Darshan low, Turtle flashes forward, of course! Takes down Darshan, that's going to open up the mid in here.
And they could potentially just end this. I mean, that's the tank down. Super minions are there from the bottom lane. They are onto these Nexus turrets.
Straightforward is FlyQuest. We asked for a clean win, and it seems like they will deliver. CLG fighting, desperate in their base to try and keep their Nexus up, but it looks like it is all for naught. Flame flashes forward, gonna burn down 6A. CLG retreating to the fountain, Rain over dead, Nexus exposed, and FlyQuest will end their week with a win.
FlyQuest just absolutely dominating here against CLG, picking up another win for themselves. Looking really strong in the second half. Another win on the weekend, 2-0. And they are, essentially all but guaranteed to get into playoffs now. That, again, 9 wins, has never missed playoffs before. They still have 2 games remaining, and they have one of the easier schedules going into next week. FlyQuest is going to play Golden Guardians. Then Cloud9, who is on a hot streak, but they should be in the playoffs now. It's not guaranteed just yet, but still very impressive stuff from them. Pretty clinical from FlyQuest, start to finish. Very impressed with Flame in particular, was monstrous on the Rumble. His equalizers were so good. JJ and Turtle were everywhere. I mean, it was a whole team effort.
And the future is very bright for FlyQuest. I mean, we have not just, probably in playoffs given the win, but playing for potentially a very good seed. They actually get to play Cloud9 here. They are now tied with, alongside Echo Fox, to maybe play up towards something as good as 3rd, which is, I don't think, something we expect. FlyQuest did make playoffs last split, so it's been a pretty big improvement to potentially make it to top 3.
Yeah, I mean, it's been absolutely enormous. Their kind of meteoric rise from spring to summer. They've got so much better. Their roster swaps, I think, were incredibly effective, and they are looking really, really good.
Certainly are. To get more on that game, we're going to send it down to Ovely May and the FlyQuest support.
Thanks, guys. JJ, congratulations on that victory. A 2-0 weekend for FlyQuest. What did you think of your performance as well as the team's?
I think yesterday we had a lot of troubles in closing out the game. I think that one should have been a little cleaner. But I think today we looked for a lot more opportunities, and we went over our game from yesterday and looked over our mistakes and fixed a lot of them for today and played a lot better.
And today you were pulling off all of these crazy saves and bringing your team into where you needed them. So how are you coordinating all of this?
Well, A lot of the time it's just about looking at people who are isolated. So a lot of the time I'll just be staring at my mini-map and then looking for people who are out of place. And then usually from that we can get a free flash or whatever. And then also I'll tell whoever I want to ult in, like, look at me, like, I'm going to go, and then we'll just go.
You guys are sitting pretty at 9 wins coming into the last week before playoffs, but you know your spot isn't secured yet. So are you guys feeling the pressure?
Yeah, I think today was the most nervous I've been for a game in like since Academy finals last split. So there's definitely a lot of pressure on us to perform and try to get good seeding for playoffs, and then hopefully go in the gauntlet and make a run for Worlds.
Well, let's touch on that. What's it like for you going from Academy finals to potentially playoffs for the summer split?
When I joined the team, I wasn't sure how well we would do because the team did kind of poorly last split, and I didn't think that we necessarily like might have what it takes. But I think we've been gelling really well, and as well as with Saint coming in, he knows a lot about the game, and we've been kind of developing our own play style, and it's working out really well for us.
You have to give yourself more credit, because remember when Saint came in and when you came in, FlyQuest started up on the win streak. But JJ, congratulations and thank you so much. And to wrap up the day, let's hear from the State Farm Analyst Desk.
Thank you very much, Avali. FlyQuest picking up another win to move to 9-7. Again, keeping that playoff picture and the race for the final 6 spots that much more interesting. A very clean win over CLG here. When we talked about teams that didn't make the top 6 last split and what they needed to do to kind of give us a little bit more confidence coming into the postseason here in summer, it was all about the cleanliness of the wins, right? Making the wins decisive and the losses close. You can't ask for anything more decisive than this, really.
Yeah, this was just FlyQuest kind of beating up on CLG all game. I like their comp a lot. It's a pretty standard comp with the one kind of wrinkle being the Rumble up in the top lane to counter the Cho'Gath, as well as the fact that you're up against a double immobile backline means you're probably going to get some good Rumble ults over the course of this game. The Orianna pick was a little weird to me because traditionally you see Ryze as a counter pick to Orianna, as like a soft counter.
Right.
And so I was surprised to see them, who he take that one.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, CLG had initiation in all 5 positions. They had a ton of CC, but FlyQuest kept the map spread out when they wanted it spread out and collapsed when they wanted to collapse. So they, like Mark said, beat up on CLG.
That's the key, right? And Avli had even, asked JJ about it. Where did these clean engages in the grouping come from? And it's all about looking for isolated members, but with 5 engage tools on the side of CLG, it was more often FlyQuest, the team, actually pulling off the engagements.
Right, and the map mobility on display there for this first blood, just being able to wrap around, and then they kept finding people in the side lanes. This one was initiated by Turtle himself when they kind of saw Darshan pushing and everyone else collapses, but a lot of them were JJ as well, being able to ult people around the map and get these things kicked off for his team. Darshan in particular was the one who was getting the most taken out on him because they have a 1-3-1 comp with the Ryze, and you don't really have anyone who wants to match in the side lanes that well, and so you saw FlyQuest just abusing the comp advantage.
And I would say JJ probably had more Tom Kench ults per minute than any other
ever
Tom
seen.
Kench we've seen in the game.
We're going to add that stat
Yeah.
to the
We actually
polls.
can track that. I'm
That's
going to go
true.
check in our doc later.
That'd be very interesting.
That's a very nice Rumble ult as well, who Flame had been nailing.
Flame
those
had a number of very solid Rumble ultimates, topping the damage charts there. Turtle just behind him. But overall, again, that's the picture of a gold graph that you want to see for a team nearing the end of the season.
Yeah, the best game I think FlyQuest has played, this, as you talked about at the start of the segment, was not a FlyQuest team that had convincing victories. Now, we have to couch this statement a little bit because Counter Logic Gaming extends their loss streak to 8.
Yep.
But this was still a good win for FlyQuest.
I think this is exactly what you want to see out of a FlyQuest team going up against a bit of a dead-eyed CLG.
Yeah.
I think is the way to put it, where it just doesn't feel like there was any fight in this game. You know, they, like Jet said, they had all these tools, and then they finally pressured the go button once after FlyQuest already had Baron, and they easily picked off the Ryze. And it was like, well, where was this for the first 25 minutes of the game?
Right. Easiest schedule of all teams in the last 4 games. They already beat Clutch. They've beaten CLG. Next week, they kick it off with Golden Guardians. We'll look for them to do exactly the same thing against that squad before they have probably their biggest test over the 2 weekends against Cloud9. And I think that'll be a really telling match only because of how well Cloud9 is playing so recently that it becomes, a very uphill battle. I mean, a lot of people would probably favor Cloud9 in that matchup, even though they're equivalent in standings.
Yeah, and even with 100 Thieves dropping a game and Echo Fox dropping a game and Liquid being at 11 wins, playoff buys are actually reachable if you really take care of business down the stretch. We have a very tight pack of teams in the top 7.
Yeah, and it's still just like a playoff preview. You never know if these guys actually meet each other at some point, if they, depending on how.
Right, we haven't even
things
talked
break
about
out.
the seeding and the matchups that would therefore, result from it. But when it comes down to the playoff race, some players bust out the pocket assassins, and others save their ultimates for the big plays. But then there are the players who use every key to set up an ally, just to say, I'm helping. Presented by State Farm. Now, in this game versus CLG, JJ makes sure his team gets what they need on every part of the map.
Yeah, such a good Tom Kench ultimate to get the dive in right off the bat. Then again, you get to see him from
This was a
basically
creative
out of fog
one.
all the way into red. Haven't seen many people
On red spawn.
if anyone do that really.
I love it. Yeah, using the ult for counter jungle, you almost only see it for rotations between lanes. That was a good use there for an actual objective. And here, the
Beautiful.
out of the knockback was another super impressive play out of JJ. Definitely a big bounce back game for him because we had him on the desk. I think it was.
Zazel?
That's not quite right.
That's not quite right.
There we go. Hey.
Quick fingers, I like it.
But yeah, JJ was on the desk with us last week talking about how he had a Tom Kench game and it took him like 20 minutes to figure out I should be ulting into side lanes.
Right.
And then he said, like, Saint's going to have some choice words for me in VOD review. Looks like he heard those words because that was a great Tom Kench game.
Yeah, as you said, using it on cooldown, definitely catching CLG out. I love the ingenious usage of it as well in that jungle to kind of both steal the buff away, starve the opposing jungle out of some XP. It's great. Now, looking at today's predictions, though, you two did not do so great.
What happened today?
Less
Mark?
great.
Hey, they
You guys
kept my
are-
TSM.
No.
Oh, wait
kept
a
my
second.
TSM.
Okay. We're gonna
Mark
have to make another.
officially
I don't know about
Yeah,
with our
no.
producer.
I don't think so.
I was
200
witness to
Thieves.
this. So
Do we have any proof? Is there
Yes.
any proof I can get?
the proof is
submitted?
me
record
sitting
everything.
here. All right, as the unbiased party, I
Unbiased. You will do anything to make us look bad.
That's true. But then I'm equally biased against both of you.
That's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So in that equal bias, I will say that
Yeah.
preceding the TSM 100 Thieves game, Mark actually rescinded his TSM vote. Wanted to flip-flop over to 100 Thieves because of the way the day was
Thank you for
going.
that,
Did
bud.
you
Had
see that
so
game?
Much confidence
Thank
in
you
it.
for the flip-flop.
So in reality, both of them close out the day at 1-4. They can thank FlyQuest for giving them that one victory.
Thank you, FlyQuest.
But guys, I mean, I think if anything, that's a perfect encapsulation of what this split has been so far. Because as we believe things are figured out, as we believe things are becoming more rigid in the standings, and you've got separation between the top 3 and the next 3, and then the bottom 4. It all goes out the window again. And as you mentioned, the playoff buys are now hanging in the balance.
The top 3 teams in the LCS lost today.
That's about all she wrote.
Yep. And the top 2 analysts in the NALCS lost today.
Thank
That's
you.
going to do it for us here on the
That's
desk,
a
which
good
means
couple.
it's time to toss it over to Free, Azale, and Pobelter for NALCS Tonight.